What's up? I'm Shanice and welcome to the first episode of my cycle syncing series. In the series, we will define cycle syncing, how it benefits us, and some suggestions as to how to incorporate it into your life. Now, the goal of the series is to educate and empower so that you feel better equipped to navigate through your cycle every single month. When you think about it, we're gonna have periods for quite a few decades, and you might as well figure out the best ways to support your system. If you're watching this video, I'm sure you are well aware of what periods are and the connotations that they bring. Bloating, pain, cramps, but I have a secret for you. It doesn't have to be that way. And in fact, it's not supposed to be that way. Your periods are supposed to be seamless and pain-free. I know, it's so crazy because we're conditioned to think that painful, disruptive periods are normal, and they're not. This is where cycle syncing comes in. Cycle syncing is a practice where you alter your diet, your lifestyle, and your activity according to the menstrual phase you're in. Because there's 4. Oh yes, not just the menstrual phase or your bleeding phase like we're taught. There are 3 other phases within the menstrual cycle, and you need to be able to support the phases that you're in. Now, if you haven't heard of cycle syncing, don't feel bad. It's a fairly new practice that was developed by Alyssa Vitti. She's also the author of Woman Code, which is where I'm getting a lot of my information. Although I did my other research, she's the one who created this whole system. So it all began when she was in her early 20s and she got diagnosed with PCOS, and her doctor prescribed birth control on top of a slew of other medications to help with her symptoms. And she had asked her doctor, are these actually going to heal me? And her doctor said no. That didn't sit well with Alyssa, and she declined the medical advice that she was given. Luckily, she was already in med school, so she had resources to do her own research, and that's exactly what she did. And she healed herself like the boss that she is. So while she was doing her research, she realized that a lot of the medical articles or medical practices or lifestyle suggestions were actually done on men and by men. And I'm sure, as you know, men and women have very different genetic makeups. So what works for a man is not gonna work for a woman. Intermittent fasting, early to sleep, early to rise, those all benefit men and optimize their efforts and their potential. It doesn't always work for us. A man's cycle is 24 hours. So the early to sleep, early to rise works for them because their testosterone and their energy is the highest in the morning, and then it declines over the day. However, a woman's cycle is 28 days. Vastly different. As people who have fluctuating hormones throughout the month, we need to behave and act accordingly. Like I said, this is the first episode of my cycle syncing series, so this video is going to be a very brief description of each of the phases. Each phase will have their own time to shine in their own video where I will discuss more in depth what each hormone is and what each hormone does. In this video, I'll be comparing the phases of our cycle to the seasons of the year. It's just incredible to me how in tune our body is to the universe. You know, the seasons of the year, and then our 28-day cycle, and the moon's 28-day cycle. I can't be the only one that thinks this is incredible. I'm not, right? As I was saying, when you think about your cycle in this way, it kind of creates a bigger picture for you. So the things that you do in the summer, you're not gonna do in December, and vice versa. So you're not gonna have hearty, warming soups in July, just like you're not gonna plant certain fruits and vegetables in December. The environment and the situation is completely different, and it's the same for our bodies. What we do in our ovulation phase should not be done in the menstrual phase. So I'm going to compare the phases to the seasons. We're going to discuss what our hormones are doing, how our energy is, what foods we should eat, what activities we should do, and then how we should be socializing. Like I said, this is going to be brief. First up is your follicular phase. Now, I have seen online, because like I said, I did my own research, some people consider the beginning of your bleeding phase to be the start of your cycle, but in Woman Code, Alyssa Vitti considers the follicular phase the beginning of your cycle. So I'm gonna consider that the beginning of my cycle.
Katie Heron wearing army pants and flip-flops, so I bought army pants and flip-flops.
We're starting with the follicular phase. This is your spring phase. This is the phase following your bleed. It's between 7 to 10 days. Your hormones are starting to increase as well as your energy. This is a really good time to plan and brainstorm and research. This is your time to stay focused, not your time to act. You want foods that are going to support your low hormones during this time. We're also going to go for foods that support gut health. So we're looking at fermented foods like sauerkraut. You can even eat olives. She has pickles on the list. Carrots, avocado, berries, things like that will really help you during this week. The workouts that you should be focused on are cardio-based. So kickboxing, running, swimming, hiking, something that gets your heart rate up. Next is the ovulation phase. The ovulation phase is the summer phase. This is between 3 and 4 days. This is your social phase. Essentially, your body is looking for a mate to help fertilize your egg. So your estrogen is high. You have lots of energy, your estrogen is high. So your skin is gonna look amazing. You are gonna feel super confident around this time. Your communication and productivity skills are through the roof. This is a good time to have meetings or socialize, plan parties. The foods that we should be focusing on are detoxifying foods because, like I said, all of our hormones are pretty high, and we want to make sure that we are eliminating any of the excess hormones within our body because those can lead to other symptoms. Detoxifying foods could be broccoli or Brussels sprout. It could be spinach, eggs, chicken, things like that to help you during this phase. The workouts you should be focused on are high intensity interval training because you have so much energy, and this is also a good time to challenge yourself. Next is the luteal phase. This is the week before your period. This is your fall phase, and it lasts between 7 and 10 days. At the start, your hormones are still pretty high. They're coming down from your ovulation, and we're starting to decrease over the 10 days. Now, this is the phase where progesterone is pretty dominant, so you are going to start to feel a little sluggish, tired, fatigued, normal once again. But in order to combat that, we're going to focus on vitamin B rich foods. Your metabolism is actually higher at this time. If you have felt an increase in hunger before your period, you're not imagining it. It's science. It's supposed to happen. Listen to your body. Fill yourself up with nutritious, warming, and comforting foods. You can have root vegetables, apples, pears, peaches. Things are starting to slow down, and so should your activity. We're not going to be doing cardio, high intensity training right now. The activity or the workout that you should be doing, a strength training, maybe do Pilates or weights or something along those lines. We are slowing things down in preparation for, last but not least, our menstrual phase. Your menstrual phase is in comparison to the winter, can last between 3 and 7 days. Now, your hormones are at their lowest and your energy is going to be at the lowest. Listen to that. Now is the time to rest and reflect and analyze what worked for you and what you can improve for the next few weeks. And this is the time to listen to your intuition. The chemicals between the left and right hemisphere really increase, and we are lifting the veil, as they say. So we're super intuitive. If there is something that keeps coming up every single month, pay attention to that. So the foods that we are focusing on this week are iron-rich foods. As you know, we are losing blood by the moment. So you want to make sure that you're replenishing your body, like I said, with iron-rich foods, with zinc, very nutrient dense. There's a cat in my backyard and it looks disgusting. You want to have iron-rich and zinc-rich, magnesium-rich foods that will help put those nutrients back into your body. So that can mean kale, kidney beans, seaweed is great, or kelp. You can do mushrooms, things like that. Now, this week is a time to rest. We can still be active by walking or maybe doing some light yoga, but Alyssa has given us the permission to nap and rest. She said that napping is considered an activity during this week. If you needed the permission, there it is. Here is your slip. Go take that rest, chill out. Now is not the time to be planning or adding details or doing anything like that. No, now we're reflecting, we're relaxing, and we're analyzing what works and what didn't work. Okay, so that is a very brief description of all of the phases within the menstrual cycle. I hope this was informative. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a video on each of the phases way more in depth, and I will be offering suggestions, recipes, even activities to do. And I just want people to feel empowered in their bodies and better educated, because there isn't enough research on us. And I want to thank Alyssa Vitti for doing the research on herself and following through with this, because it really is life-changing, and I am very appreciative. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next Friday.